The world's largest desert lake. Home to Africa's greatest concentration of prehistoric predators. Lifeblood to many, fueling a daily battle for survival. But rising temperatures make this volcanic wilderness more hostile by the minute. As Lake Turkana evaporates, life in this region faces an even greater challenge. Lake Turkana, the largest of Africa's Rift Valley lakes. Stretching 250 kilometers south from the border with Ethiopia, this vast body of water dissects northern Kenya's semi-desert lands. These turquoise waters are a startling contrast to the red volcanic rocks that litter the shoreline. They also belie the fact that this is actually the toughest survival challenge yet. There's far more to Lake Turkana than first meets the eye. Parched desert and sun-baked volcanic rocks invite only a handful of the toughest plants, such as spiny acacia. Few mammals would risk the blistering heat for such little edible reward. But one creature has set up home in this region and appears to have it all. The Nile crocodile, Africa's largest crocodilian. This living dinosaur has changed little over the past 130 million years. It can reach lengths of over 6 meters and weigh in at over a ton. Feared as a man-killer, its broad mouth filled with sharp conical teeth, backed up by a large stocky body, only reinforces its formidable reputation. Although found throughout most of Africa, the greatest population of Nile crocodiles is found here at Lake Turkana. An estimated 10,000 inhabit the water and bask on its sandy shores. Soaking up the sunshine is a daily need for most cold-blooded creatures. But to become one of the world's largest and most successful predators, a far more important ingredient is required: prey. An item not too apparent along these desolate shores. Despite being able to survive for more than a year without eating, something must be fueling Turkana's enormous crocodile population. And that something lurks here in the lake. Although normally associated with taking large mammals like antelope, buffalo, and wildebeest, the Nile crocodile's diet is mainly made up of fish. Lake Turkana is stocked to the brim, and there are portions to suit even the largest set of jaws. Swallowed whole, nothing goes to waste. Crocodiles have the most acidic stomach of all vertebrates, enabling them to digest virtually everything, including bone. Around 10,000 years ago, Turkana's water level was 100 meters higher than today and connected with the River Nile in the north. This explains the presence in the lake of Nile species, like the crocodile and one of its favorite meals, the Nile perch. Flocks of pink-backed pelicans and white-breasted cormorants also lay testament to the vast array of aquatic prey on offer. But these birds have to watch their step. On Lake Turkana, the crocodile is king. It has dominated this landscape for millennia. No creature is off this hunter's menu. And that includes man, one of the region's more recent arrivals. On the southeastern shore of Turkana, the smallest tribe in Kenya relies entirely on the offerings of the lake. This tiny population of around 400 individuals spend the majority of their lives fishing. Their name, El Molo, literally means the people who eat fish. The surrounding land is so barren and rocky, grazing cattle or goats here isn't an option. Neither is the alternative of growing crops. The region's annual rainfall is less than 200 millimeters. Because of this, the El Molo had to turn to the lake for survival and run the crocodile gauntlet. Balancing on a raft made from doom palm logs, this fisherman hauls in the morning's catch. This 3,000-year-old method known as gill netting still proves to be one of the most effective means of fishing. Of the 50 species within the lake, Nile perch, catfish, and the fast-growing tilapia are the mainstay of the El Molo diet. After hauling in the nets, it's back to the safety of dry land. He wouldn't be the first fisherman to fall foul of a croc. The resident yellow-billed storks seem far too preoccupied with preening to notice the rafts of breakfast passing within reach of their beaks. Small huts made from doom palm fronds and acacia trees offer the El Molo shade and shelter, and also double up as the kitchen. The day's catch is prepared. While the men of the village fish, cooking is purely a woman's domain. Eating is a family affair, and very little goes to waste. Fishbone broth provides a welcome, thirst-quenching drink. Fresh water is a luxury the El Molo have no choice but to live without. The rest of the day's catch is gutted, salted, and dried outside in the baking sun. Over the coming weeks, these stocks of fish will be soaked and softened in the lake before being boiled and eaten. When it comes to hunting larger fish, a different approach is needed. The El Molo are excellent spear fishermen, but for these bigger gains come even bigger risks. Sharing a lake with such toothy neighbors was never going to be easy. Crocodiles and El Molo people never see eye to eye. Each will kill and eat the other, given half a chance. Death by crocodile is still common among the tribe. This time, the only victim is a relatively small Nile perch. This particular species can reach over 2 meters in length and weigh over 200 kilograms. Despite being alkaline and salty to taste, Lake Turkana's water is drinkable. But driven by the baking sun, the rate of evaporation currently exceeds the speed by which the lake is replenished. This vast body of water is shrinking. Levels are dropping by 30 centimeters each year. As a result, the lake is becoming increasingly salty and more alkaline, potentially making its water toxic. This change in chemical balance of the water the El Molo people rely on for survival could spell disaster for them. The greenish-blue color of Lake Turkana has given rise to its other name, the Jade Sea. This turquoise tinting of the water is created by algae, and this is the lake's secret to supporting such a huge array of life. Long since cut off from the Nile and now lacking any outlet, Turkana only loses water through evaporation, so mineral salts and debris washed into the lake remain trapped. Over time, these deposits have become so concentrated, the salinity levels are higher than any other African lake. The increased mineral levels provide the perfect environment for gigantic blooms of blue-green algae. This primitive plant-like organism is the foundation of the food chain for all Turkana's inhabitants. But it isn't just tiny fish and smaller crustaceans that feed directly. And one of these smaller lakes, set within the heart of its own amphitheater, has become the stage for one of nature's most spectacular performances. Lesser flamingos have a highly specialized diet consisting almost entirely of the algae found in alkaline lakes and saline lagoons. Their bills contain over 10,000 hair-like structures that act like a sieve, trapping the microscopic organisms as water is sucked in and pumped back out. Feeding usually takes place at night and during early morning, when the surface water is calm. But when faced with rougher waters, they form dense feeding flocks, which creates calmer conditions in the center of the group. Gatherings range anywhere from a few hundred to tens of thousands of individuals. On Turkana's main shoreline, spoonbills wade the shallows, sweeping their partially open bills from side to side. Unlike the lesser flamingos, it's the algae-eating small fish and invertebrates that fall prey to this bird's snapping mouth. Yellow-billed storks join in the hunting party along with a group of fish-seeking, pink-backed pelicans, each species utilizing its own unique method of capture. But the higher up the food chain you climb, the closer you get to the crushing jaws of Turkana's deadliest predator. And this heartless hunter is no fussy diner. It will settle for scale, skin, feather, or fur. Fortunately, most birds are able to quickly distance themselves from the majority of attempted attacks. Man isn't the only mammal that chooses to live by Turkana's shores. In drier regions, topi need to drink daily, so rarely stray far from a permanent water supply. But at this time of year, drinking is way down the list of priorities for this medium-sized antelope. Amidst the warm desert breeze, it appears that love is in the air. Although their mating season lasts for 6 weeks, female topi are fertile for just 1 day every year. This creates frenzy among the dominant males, who every season meet together in the same arena and stake out the same section of personal territory, often just 25 meters apart. These male gatherings, known as leks, contain around a dozen territories. Defending your patch with style is paramount to impressing the females, who arrive in groups in search of a suitable mate. The strongest and most desirable males hold the prized central territories, which automatically attract the opposite sex. But the more you have, the more you have to lose. So for an alpha male topi, sparring with your neighbors is a continuous activity. Despite his efforts fighting off the competition, this alpha male is on a hiding to nothing. In the 24-hour window that they are fertile, females mate on average with 4 different males, several times each. This girl seems impressed with her neighbor's strength and determination, a sign of strong genes that hopefully her next calf will inherit. While Topi roam the open region close to the water's edge, another antelope prefers the area a little further inland. On the lake's eastern shore, Gerenuk embraced the dry scrublands. This unusual-looking long-necked gazelle spends most of the day grazing on the tender shoots and leaves of prickly bushes and trees. By standing on its hind legs, it reaches vegetation up to 2.5 meters high. Gerenuks get all the water they need from the plants they eat, so unlike most other antelope, they don't run the risk of being attacked while drinking. Large eyes and ears are another adaptation reducing the risk of being ambushed. But there's one predator even this necky antelope would be lucky to spot. Leopards originally adapted to a life in the forest, which is why they spend a great deal of time high up in scrubland trees. These elevated lookout posts offer the perfect vantage point for a predator on the prowl. Most antelope live in close-knit herds, where the safety in numbers strategy offers a greater chance of survival. But like the leopard, Gerenuk lead a mostly solitary lifestyle, making them a much more vulnerable prey. As night draws in, the hunter makes its move. Although relatively small, pound for pound, leopards are the most powerful of the big cat predators. This young Gerenuk stood little chance against such a formidable hunter. Dragging its meal up the tree ensures the scavenging jaws of hyenas and jackals remain well out of reach. While Turkana's shoreline plays host to mating and hunting mammals, the middle of the lake takes on the role of nursery for a new generation of reptiles. As well as providing a feeding lake for lesser flamingos, Central Island is also home to the world's largest Nile crocodile nesting site. This isolated volcanic island is where Turkana's 10,000-strong population started out. The sandy banks provide the perfect incubation environment. Not far from the water's edge, this female excavates her nest. At around 10 years of age, she's only just reached sexual maturity. Her encounter with one of the lake's larger males 2 months ago was her first. After reaching a depth of around half a meter, she begins to lay. Around 50 eggs are deposited and covered over with sand. She'll guard the nest for the next 3 months until her youngsters are ready to hatch. Here on Central Island, crocodiles face little threat from predators or conflict with man. But on the lake's northernmost shore, it's a very different story. Ethiopia's Omo River ends where it meets the lake and provides over 80% of Turkana's freshwater intake. Living on the edge of the vast wetland are the Dasanech, a tribe whose name literally means people of the delta. Cattle are central to Dasanech culture, and the marshland grasses provide a grazing opportunity found nowhere else throughout this arid region. But for some, increasing drought and disease have made life on the delta hard. The river's flow and annual flood cycle cannot be relied upon, and just as the lake continues to shrink, so does the size of the livestock herds. Without cattle, many Dasanech have been forced to find other ways to survive. Fishing helps fill the gap for some families, but for others, there's an even better solution to make ends meet. Unlike the El Molo people on the southeastern shore who do all they can to avoid crocodiles, the cattle-less Dasanech, known as DS, actively hunt Turkana's largest predator. Just as crocodiles use the element of surprise to capture their victims, the DS use the cover of darkness to surprise their prey. These hunters make good use of the daylight and prepare their weapons for the night's mission. Although the tough skin of their intended victims is said to be softer than usual due to the alkalinity of the lake, great effort goes into ensuring each harpoon is up to tackling even the biggest of crocs. Gazelle horn is used for the lower shaft of the wooden pole. This rigid section provides a sturdy seat for delivering the barbed harpoon tip. The business end of the weaponry is kept inside the hut and is always passed out by the hunter's wife, a traditional good luck ritual. As dusk approaches, the hunters head towards their dugout canoes and prepare for what could be a long night ahead. The best time to hunt is when there's no moon. Total darkness reduces the chance of being spotted, even if it means the likelihood of making a mistake and being eaten alive is greater. Many DS hunters have succumbed to the jaws of their intended victims. An enraged, fully grown crocodile could capsize each of these primitive vessels in the blink of an eye. There's no room for error. With the sun finally set, the three hunters head deeper into Big Croc territory. Silence is now critical. Torches are on, scanning the reed beds for that ominous orange eye shine. The greater the distance apart, the bigger the croc. Finally, they spot what they're looking for and slowly steer the boat closer. It's a hit. But in the struggle, the harpoon is suddenly dislodged. The hunters move forward and strike again. But are too late. This time, the crocodile lives to fight another day. Despite today's barren shorelines and diminishing water levels, things haven't always been so challenging here. Around 3 million years ago, Lake Turkana was much larger, the water deeper, and the shores around it green with vegetation. Petrified tree stumps are a forlorn reminder of the lake's fertile past. Early humans evolved here, possibly accelerated by the brain-developing high fish diet on offer. They learned to walk upright on these very shores, and even fashioned the region's volcanic rocks into simple tools. Many consider Turkana to be the cradle of mankind. Turkana once stretched much further south, connecting to Lake Baringo, around 160 kilometers away. Here, east of the lake's former ancient shores, lies a pocket of Kenya, bursting at the seams with wildlife, just as Turkana would have done in the past. With soil enriched by the volcanic deposits, Samburu is a wildlife hotspot. Just 100 years ago, vast herds of elephants also used to grace Turkana's shores, but the lake's ever-drier climate forced them to move on. Here in Samburu, the river Wasonyero provides a year-round supply of fresh water and fuels a green ribbon of forest along its banks. But for the resident wildlife, this isn't the perfect paradise. As in Turkana, crocodiles ruled the water. Impala constantly run the risk of being snatched each time they pause to drink. For the largest mammal walking the planet, it's a slightly different story. Even the biggest of jaws would struggle to tackle a meal this size. Red-billed hornbills, however, see things differently. An elephant equals an enormous feast, so they swoop in to take their fill. From a relatively safe distance. Elephant dung is an insect magnet, and taking refuge beneath these droppings are the perfect miniature snacks for hornbills and their fledglings. Many other youngsters rely on their parents for survival. Even Africa's most iconic land predator would stand little chance of making adulthood without its mother's help. These lionesses gave birth around the same time, so share nursing and other maternal duties while raising their 3 cubs. The midday heat takes its toll on most residents, who take time out to relax. While predators avoid the burning sun, impala have worked out this is probably the safest time to quench their thirst. Even the river reptiles break cover, revealing the full might of their powerful frames on the sandy banks. Being cold-blooded, they rely on the sun as well as the cooler waters to regulate and maintain a constant body temperature. The bony plates along their backs are lined with tiny blood vessels. Together, they act like a huge solar panel absorbing the rays. To prevent their brains from overheating, they keep a cool head by adopting a gaping posture. Moisture evaporating from the soft membranes inside their mouths allows just the right amount of heat loss. Because most other water holes have long since dried up, the river is the only source of water for miles. Virtually every creature has to come down here to drink. And one particular pair of predators has worked this out. Leaving their cubs hidden within the shady thicket, the big cats have chosen to rest within sight of the river's edge. It isn't long before something catches this female's eye. Her sister is also on her feet and slowly moves into position. After breaking the midday drinking rule, the lone impala realizes she's been spotted. The first lioness freezes. Knowing her sister has the other flank covered, she slowly turns away, as if no longer interested. Suddenly, the impala bolts in the opposite direction and runs straight into the trap. This meal will feed the sisters and their cubs for the next few days. But with no other option than to visit the river, it won't be the last impala to succumb to the lion's ambush tactics. But the river's edge isn't the only territory where antelope need to be on their guard. In the drier shrubland, wild dogs have adapted to use a different strategy to secure their food. Roaming in packs of up to 20 strong, they are excellent hunters with unrivaled stamina, often pursuing their prey over several kilometers until their victims eventually tire. This long-distance tactic results in an astonishing kill success rate. Around 3/4 of all hunts are successful. Even lions only manage to convert 1 in 3 of their efforts. Something has just caught this dog's attention. Large bat-like ears provide excellent hearing and are able to turn towards the source. The rest of the pack also tunes in. It appears this herd of impala may be forced to put their escape skills into action. The dogs make their move. The entire pack spreads out, anticipating one of their targets is likely to veer to the left or right. Impala can reach speeds up to 90 kilometers an hour. Over a short distance, the dogs stand no chance of catching up. But this is no sprint. As the leading dogs tire and drop back, other members of the pack move forward to take up the lead. One of the impala begins to tire. And the dog's persistence pays off. The meal is consumed quickly and in silence. Any sound could attract the unwanted attention of freeloaders. With bellies full, the pack heads back to base, but their mission isn't quite over yet. Not all the family are old enough or strong enough to work for their food, so the entire pack takes on responsibility for ensuring the youngsters get their share of the morning's bounty. Large chunks of meat are regurgitated not only for the pups, but also for their mother, who stayed back to protect them. As the alpha female of the pack, only she is allowed to mate with the top male. These young puppies will rely on the pack elders for food for the next 12 months or so, by which time they'll be proficient hunters themselves. On Lake Turkana's central island, a new generation of reptiles is about to be let loose. For the past 3 months, this mother has guarded her buried eggs, leaving only to take a brief dip to cool off during the hottest part of the day. The high-pitched chirping sounds from deep within the nest indicates the youngsters are ready to hatch. These calls are also the cue for their patient mother to lend a helping hand. Her maternal instincts are so strong, she gently carries her babies to the water. With around 50 to care for, this can involve several trips. When first born, Nile crocodile hatchlings are around 30 centimeters long and will double in length the first year. This mother will continue to protect her young for the next 2 years, by which time they'll be over 1 meter in length and be big enough to fend for themselves. The hot desert wind blows across the lake as Turkana's sentinels bask in the heat. As man and beast have come and gone, only the crocodile has remained, unmoved by the dramatic changes along these extraordinary volcanic shores. But as the lake level continues to drop, these resilient reptiles face their greatest challenge. Turkana is becoming more toxic by the minute, a direct threat to the food chain supporting all. Only time will tell whether the creature that outlived the dinosaur can cope with the changes affecting Lake Turkana and her ever-retreating shores.